Your value is not determined by what others think of you. It originates within. When someone fails to recognize or respect your worth, it is not a reflection of you, but rather of their perception or capacity to value others. Many people mistakenly tie their self-worth to external validation, what others say, how they are treated, or even how much attention they receive. This mindset creates a dependency that can leave you vulnerable to feeling diminished when someone fails to appreciate you. But the truth is, your worth is intrinsic, unchanging, and independent of anyone else's opinion. It is a constant that exists regardless of external circumstances. Think about the way a diamond is valued. Its worth is not diminished because someone fails to see its brilliance or doesn't understand its rarity. The diamond doesn't lose its inherent qualities because it is overlooked or undervalued by one observer. Similarly, your worth remains intact even if someone doesn't acknowledge it. Their inability to see your value often stems from their own limitations, whether it's a lack of awareness, emotional maturity, or capacity to appreciate what you bring into their life. This is not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for teaching someone how to value you, nor should you ever feel compelled to prove your worth to those who are blind to it. It's important to reflect on where this need for validation originates. Many people grow up in environments where approval is conditional based on achievements, behavior, or adherence to certain expectations. Over time, this can create a pattern of seeking external validation as a measure of worthiness. But relying on external validation is like chasing a mirage as fleeting and unreliable. One day, someone might shower you with praise, and the next they might withhold it for reasons that have nothing to do with you. This roller coaster of external feedback can wreak havoc on your sense of self if you let it dictate how you see yourself. True self-worth, however, is rooted in your own understanding of who you are, what you bring to the table, and the unshakable belief that you are enough, just as you are. The world is full of people with varied perceptions, values, and priorities. If one person doesn't see your value, it doesn't mean no one will. But before you even think about how others view you, the question to ask yourself is, do you recognize your worth? Do you treat yourself with the respect and kindness that you deserve? Often, the way you see yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. When you hold yourself in high regard, you naturally project confidence, self-assurance, and boundaries. This energy communicates to others that you are someone to be valued, not taken for granted. On the other hand, when you undervalue yourself, you inadvertently give others permission to do the same. Recognizing your worth requires introspection and a shift in mindset. It begins with understanding that you are inherently valuable, not because of what you do or what you have, but simply because you exist. It's about embracing your strengths, your uniqueness, and even your flaws, knowing that they all contribute to the complete and authentic person you are. This process may take time, especially if you've spent years seeking validation from external sources. But as you begin to detach your self-worth from the opinions of others, you'll discover a newfound sense of freedom and empowerment. When you truly understand your value, you become less affected by how others treat you. Someone's inability to see your worth no longer feels like a personal rejection. Instead, it becomes a reflection of their own limitations. This shift in perspective allows you to respond to such situations with grace and composure. You no longer feel the need to argue, prove yourself, or seek their approval. Instead, you stand firm in the knowledge that their opinion does not define you. This doesn't mean you should tolerate disrespect or mistreatment. On the contrary, recognizing your worth empowers you to set boundaries and walk away from situations that do not align with your sense of self. It's not about punishing the other person, it's about honoring yourself. When you value yourself, you naturally gravitate toward people and circumstances that reflect that value. You stop settling for less than you deserve because you know that your worth is non-negotiable. Understanding your self-worth also changes the way you view relationships. Instead of clinging to those who fail to appreciate you, you begin to seek connections based on mutual respect and genuine appreciation. You realize that relationships are not about convincing someone of your value, but about sharing your life with those who already see and cherish it. This shift not only improves the quality of your relationships, but also enhances your overall sense of fulfillment and happiness. Your worth is not tied to how much attention you receive or how many people praise you. It's not about being everything to everyone, but about being true to yourself. The moment you start measuring your value by external standards, you risk losing sight of who you are. But when you anchor your sense of worth internally, it becomes unshakable. No amount of criticism, rejection, or indifference can take away from the essence of who you are. You are enough just as you are, and no one's inability to recognize that will ever change the truth of your worth. When someone fails to value you, the instinctive reaction is often to hold on tight, explain yourself, or convince them of your worth. This reaction, though natural, is rarely effective. It can lead to frustration, disappointment, and a further erosion of your sense of self-worth. Detachment, on the other hand, is a powerful approach. It is not about indifference or apathy, but about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of seeking validation from someone who no longer recognizes your value. Detachment is an act of self-respect and self-preservation, allowing you to maintain your dignity even in the face of rejection or disregard. Detachment begins with a shift in perspective. It is essential to understand that you cannot control how others perceive or treat you. Their actions are a reflection of their own beliefs, priorities, and emotional state, not a direct measure of your worth. When you internalize this truth, you stop taking their behavior personally. You realize that their inability to value you is not a deficiency on your part, but a limitation on theirs. This understanding creates the emotional distance necessary for detachment. It allows you to separate your identity from the opinions and actions of others. Practicing detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you choose to care about yourself first. You recognize that pouring energy into someone who does not reciprocate or appreciate your efforts is draining and unsustainable. Instead, you redirect that energy inward, focusing on nurturing your own well-being. This shift is not an act of selfishness, but of self-preservation. You cannot give your best to others if you are constantly depleted by trying to earn their approval. Detachment is about setting boundaries, both emotional and physical, that protect your peace and preserve your dignity. One of the most challenging aspects of detachment is resisting the urge to react. When someone devalues or dismisses you, it can trigger feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration. These emotions are valid, but acting on them impulsively often leads to regret. Responding with anger or desperation may provide temporary relief, but ultimately reinforces the power imbalance in the relationship. Detachment requires emotional discipline. It is about pausing, reflecting, and choosing a response or lack of response that aligns with your values and self-respect. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to say nothing at all. Detachment also involves letting go of the need for closure. Many people hold on to unhealthy relationships or situations because they are waiting for an explanation, apology, or acknowledgement that may never come. This need for closure can keep you tethered to someone who does not value you, prolonging your pain and delaying your healing. Detachment is about accepting that some questions will remain unanswered and some wounds will heal without an apology. It is about finding your own peace independent of anyone else's actions or words. In detaching from someone who does not value you, it is important to focus on your own growth. Use the time and energy you once devoted to them to invest in yourself. Pursue your passions, develop new skills, and strengthen your relationships with people who genuinely appreciate and support you. This not only helps you heal, but also reinforces your sense of self-worth. The more you focus on your own growth, the less power their opinion holds over you. Detachment creates space for self-discovery and transformation, allowing you to emerge stronger and more self-assured. Detachment is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing process. There will be moments of doubt and temptation to re-engage. You may question whether you did enough or wonder if their perspective has changed. These thoughts are normal, but they should not dictate your actions. Detachment is about staying true to your decision to prioritize your well-being. It is about trusting that letting go of what does not serve you creates room for what does. The act of detachment also sends a powerful message to the person who failed to value you. It communicates that you respect yourself enough to walk away from a situation that does not honor your worth. This message is not delivered with anger or resentment, but with quiet confidence. By detaching, you shift the dynamic. You are no longer seeking their validation or playing by their rules. This change in energy can be surprising and even unsettling for the other person. It forces them to confront their own behavior and reevaluate their perception of you. Detachment is not about punishment or manipulation. It is about reclaiming your power and choosing yourself. When you detach, you are no longer a passive participant in a relationship or situation where your value is unrecognized. You take an active role in shaping your own life free from the constraints of someone else's opinions or actions. This is an act of empowerment rooted in the belief that you deserve to be surrounded by people who see and appreciate your worth. Ultimately, detachment is a form of liberation. It frees you from the emotional entanglement of seeking validation from someone who cannot or will not provide it. It allows you to focus on your own journey, unburdened by the need to prove yourself to others. Detachment is not an easy path, but it is a necessary one. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a deep commitment to honoring your own value. Silence holds an extraordinary power that is often overlooked in our fast-paced, communication-driven world. When someone fails to value you, the natural tendency might be to explain, argue, or plead your case, but sometimes the most impactful response is none at all. Choosing silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a deliberate act of strength and self-control. It communicates that you refuse to engage in dynamics that compromise your dignity or drain your energy. Silence can create space for reflection, clarity, and transformation, both for you and for the other person involved. When you choose silence, you are reclaiming your power. Many interactions, especially those rooted in conflict or misunderstanding, are fueled by emotional reactions. When someone undervalues you, they may expect you to react, to defend yourself, or to seek their approval. This reaction often reinforces their behavior, giving them a sense of control over the situation. Silence, however, disrupts this cycle. It is a powerful way to set a boundary without uttering a single word. By refusing to engage, you signal that you are not available for dynamics that diminish your worth. This is not about ignoring or dismissing the other person, but about prioritizing your peace and self-respect. Silence also has a way of amplifying your presence. In a world where people are constantly seeking attention and validation, choosing to remain silent can make you stand out. It creates a sense of mystery and intrigue, prompting others to question their assumptions about you. Silence forces the other person to sit with their thoughts and confront the absence of your voice or energy. This absence can be more impactful than any words you could have spoken. It creates a vacuum that compels them to reflect on their behavior and its consequences. Often, people only realize the value of someone's presence when it is no longer readily available. Another powerful aspect of silence is that it allows you to observe and understand. When you are not focused on responding or reacting, you can take a step back and gain a clearer perspective on the situation. Silence gives you the opportunity to assess the dynamics at play, identify patterns, and determine whether the relationship or interaction aligns with your values and needs. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that you can make more informed decisions about how to proceed. Rather than reacting impulsively, you are able to respond thoughtfully and intentionally if and when you choose to re-engage. Silence is also a tool for self-preservation. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. In moments of frustration or hurt, it is easy to say things that may escalate the situation or lead to regret. By choosing silence, you give yourself time to process your emotions and ensure that any future communication is aligned with your integrity and self-respect. Silence protects you from the temptation to over-explain, justify, or seek validation from someone who has already demonstrated a lack of appreciation for your worth. It allows you to remain composed and centered, even in the face of disappointment or rejection. In relationships, silence can create a sense of balance and recalibration. When someone undervalues you, they may have grown accustomed to you always being available, always explaining yourself, or always accommodating their needs. By choosing silence, you disrupt this dynamic and create space for the other person to step up, reflect, or reconsider their actions. Silence shifts the responsibility back to them, giving them the opportunity to evaluate their behavior and decide whether they are willing to make the effort to value you as you deserve. This shift can lead to a deeper understanding and potentially a stronger, more balanced connection, but only if the other person is willing and capable of growth. For you, silence can be a period of self-discovery and healing. It is in the quiet moments that you can reconnect with yourself, affirm your worth, and realign with your values. Silence creates a sanctuary where you can process your emotions, release any lingering resentment, and focus on your own growth. It is not about shutting out the world, but about creating a space where you can hear your own voice more clearly. In this space, you can rediscover your strength, clarity, and purpose, free from the noise of external opinions or judgments. Silence does not mean passivity or avoidance. It is a deliberate choice to step away from dynamics that no longer serve you. It is about exercising control over how and when you engage with others, ensuring that your energy is directed toward relationships and interactions that are mutually respectful and fulfilling. Silence is a way of communicating your boundaries without confrontation. It is a quiet yet powerful statement that says, I value myself enough to step back and let my actions speak louder than words. Choosing silence can be challenging, especially in a culture that often equates communication with resolution. There may be moments of doubt or discomfort, as silence requires patience and trust in the process. However, the impact of silence is undeniable. It gives you the space to reclaim your power, prioritize your well-being, and create an environment where your worth is recognized and respected. Silence is not an absence of communication. It is a profound and intentional way of saying everything that needs to be said without uttering a word. Rebuilding your self-worth after someone has failed to value you is an essential and transformative journey. It is a process that requires patience, self-reflection, and a commitment to rediscovering the person you are beneath the layers of doubt and disappointment. When someone undervalues you, it can leave a lasting mark on your confidence, making you question your worth and abilities. However, this experience, painful as it may be, is also an opportunity to rebuild yourself stronger than before. It allows you to shift your focus inward, cultivating a sense of self that is not dependent on the opinions or actions of others. The first step in rebuilding your self-worth is to acknowledge the impact of the experience. It's natural to feel hurt, angry, or even betrayed when someone you care about fails to value you. These emotions are valid and deserve to be acknowledged rather than suppressed. Ignoring them only prolongs the healing process. Allow yourself to sit with these feelings, but don't let them define you. Recognize that these emotions are a part of your journey, not the entirety of your identity. By processing your emotions, you create space for growth and healing. As you move through these emotions, it is crucial to remind yourself that your worth is inherent. It is not something that can be diminished or taken away by another person's inability to recognize it. Your value does not decrease because someone else fails to see it. This understanding is the foundation upon which you can begin to rebuild your self-esteem. Start by affirming your worth daily, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Simple affirmations such as I am deserving of love and respect, or my worth is not defined by others, can serve as powerful reminders. Reconnecting with your strengths and passions is another vital aspect of rebuilding your self-worth. When someone undervalues you, it can lead you to question your abilities or diminish your sense of accomplishment. Combat this by engaging in activities that bring you joy and a sense of purpose. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, learning a new skill, or revisiting past achievements, these actions help you reconnect with the aspects of yourself that make you unique and valuable. They remind you that your worth is not tied to anyone else's opinion, but is rooted in who you are and what you bring to the world. Setting boundaries is an essential part of this rebuilding process. When someone undervalues you, it often indicates a lack of respect for your boundaries or needs. Reestablishing these boundaries is a way of reclaiming your power and asserting your right to be treated with respect. Boundaries are not about shutting others out, but about protecting your peace and well-being. They serve as a clear signal of what you will and will not tolerate, reinforcing your sense of self-respect. By upholding these boundaries, you create an environment where your worth is recognized and valued. Surrounding yourself with supportive and uplifting individuals is equally important. When someone has failed to value you, it can be easy to internalize their treatment and isolate yourself. However, this is the time to seek out people who see and appreciate you for who you are. Whether it's friends, family, or a community of like-minded individuals, these relationships can serve as a powerful reminder of your worth. They provide a safe space where you can heal, grow, and rebuild your confidence. The energy and support of others who genuinely value you can be incredibly affirming. Self-compassion is another critical component of this journey. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate the process of rebuilding your self-worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism, especially if you feel you've allowed someone to undervalue you for too long. However, self-blame only perpetuates the cycle of doubt and insecurity. Instead, approach yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend in a similar situation. Acknowledge your mistakes without judgment and use them as lessons for growth rather than as reasons for self-punishment. Taking time for self-care is a practical and symbolic way to reinforce your worth. This goes beyond superficial acts of care that extends to nurturing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Engage in activities that replenish your energy, such as mindfulness practices, exercise, or spending time in nature. Prioritize rest, nourishment, and relaxation as acts of self-respect. By caring for yourself, you send a message to both yourself and the world that you are deserving of love and attention, starting with your own. As you rebuild your self-worth, it's also important to redefine your standards for how you want to be treated moving forward. Use this experience as an opportunity to clarify your values and expectations in relationships. What behaviors will you no longer tolerate? What qualities do you seek in the people you allow into your life? By establishing these standards, you set the foundation for healthier and more fulfilling relationships. These standards are not about being rigid or unyielding, but about ensuring that your interactions reflect the respect and appreciation you deserve. Rebuilding your self-worth is not a linear process. There will be moments of progress and moments of doubt. However, every step you take toward valuing yourself is a step away from the impact of those who have failed to do so. It is a journey of rediscovery, resilience, and renewal, leading you to a stronger and more self-assured version of yourself. One of the most empowering actions you can take when someone undervalues you is to channel your energy into self-improvement. This is not about proving anything to them, but about becoming the best version of yourself for your own growth and fulfillment. When someone doesn't see your worth, it can feel disheartening. But it also presents an opportunity to reflect, grow, and redirect your focus toward your goals, passions, and aspirations. Investing in yourself is a declaration of independence from the opinions and validation of others. It is a bold step toward reclaiming your power and redefining your narrative. Self-improvement begins with setting clear goals for yourself. These goals don't have to be monumental, they can be small, achievable steps that align with the vision you have for your life. Whether it's learning a new skill, advancing in your career, improving your health, or cultivating a hobby, setting intentions gives you a sense of purpose and direction. It shifts your focus away from the person who undervalued you and towards something constructive and fulfilling. Goals act as a roadmap, guiding you toward personal growth and reminding you of your capabilities and potential. Taking care of your physical health is a foundational aspect of self-improvement. When you prioritize your well-being, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are worth the effort and attention. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate rest are not just physical necessities, but also acts of self-respect. Exercise, in particular, has a profound impact on your mental and emotional state. It boosts your confidence, reduces stress, and enhances your overall sense of well-being. As you see your body grow stronger and more resilient, you begin to feel a similar transformation in your mindset and self-perception. Education and skill building are other transformative avenues for self-improvement. When you invest in your knowledge and abilities, you expand your horizons and increase your value not to others but to yourself. This could mean enrolling in a course, reading books that inspire you, attending workshops, or exploring online resources. The act of learning stimulates your mind and reminds you of your potential for growth. It empowers you to pursue opportunities and challenges that you may have previously doubted your ability to tackle. Each new skill or piece of knowledge becomes a building block in the foundation of your confidence. Another critical aspect of self-improvement is cultivating a positive and growth-oriented mindset. When someone fails to value you, it can be tempting to dwell on the hurt or internalize their perception of you. However, focusing on self-improvement requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing their undervaluing as a reflection of your worth, view it as a catalyst for change. Embrace the idea that challenges and setbacks are opportunities for growth. Practice gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained through adversity. This mindset not only helps you heal, but also empowers you to approach life with resilience and optimism. Your environment plays a significant role in your journey of self-improvement. Surround yourself with people, spaces, and experiences that uplift and inspire you. Let go of toxic relationships and influences that drain your energy or reinforce self-doubt. Instead, seek out connections that encourage your growth and celebrate your achievements. Whether it's joining a community of like-minded individuals, spending time with supportive friends and family, or creating a personal sanctuary at home, cultivating a positive environment reinforces your commitment to self-improvement and self-worth. Emotional self-care is another vital element of self-improvement. This involves acknowledging and processing your emotions rather than suppressing them. Journaling, therapy, or simply taking time for introspection can help you understand your feelings and work through them in a healthy way. Emotional self-care also means setting boundaries and saying no to situations or people that do not align with your values or well-being. By prioritizing your emotional health, you strengthen your ability to navigate challenges and maintain a sense of balance and peace. Financial independence and stability can also be powerful components of self-improvement. Taking control of your finances, whether it's through budgeting, saving, or pursuing additional income streams, gives you a sense of security and autonomy. It frees you from dependency on others and allows you to make choices that align with your goals and values. Financial growth is not just about material gain, it's about creating opportunities and building a foundation for a life that reflects your aspirations. Creative expression is another avenue for self-improvement. Engaging in creative activities allows you to explore and express your inner world in a way that is uniquely yours. Whether it's painting, writing, music, or any other form of creativity, these activities can be incredibly therapeutic and fulfilling. They provide an outlet for your emotions and a way to connect with your authentic self. Creative expression reminds you of your individuality and the beauty you bring to the world, reinforcing your sense of worth and purpose. Finally, self-improvement is a lifelong journey. It is not about reaching a final destination, but about continuously striving to grow, learn, and evolve. Each step you take towards self-improvement strengthens your resilience, boosts your confidence, and affirms your value. It shifts the focus away from those who fail to see your worth and places it where it belongs on you. By investing in yourself, you create a life that is rich, fulfilling, and unapologetically your own. Letting go of the past is one of the most powerful tools for reclaiming your peace and moving forward when someone doesn't value you. Often, the hurt caused by another person's lack of appreciation can become a weight that you carry with you, shaping your actions, thoughts, and relationships long after the initial pain. It's important to recognize that holding on to this pain not only keeps you emotionally tethered to the person who undervalued you, but also prevents you from fully embracing the future and all the possibilities it holds. The act of letting go is not about forgetting what happened or excusing someone's behavior, but about releasing the emotional hold the situation has over you so you can regain control of your life and your happiness. Letting go begins with acknowledging the hurt. It's common to suppress feelings of pain, disappointment, and betrayal because we fear confronting them. However, avoiding these emotions only prolongs the healing process and keeps you emotionally entangled with the person who didn't value you. When you allow yourself to feel these emotions fully, you create space for healing. You give yourself permission to grieve, to be angry, to feel sad, but also to move through those emotions in a healthy way. This is an essential part of letting go because healing cannot take place until you have fully processed what happened. Once you've allowed yourself to feel the pain, the next step in letting go is to shift your focus away from the person who didn't value you. Too often, we become fixated on the actions of others and the ways they have hurt us. We replay past conversations, ruminate on what went wrong, and question what we could have done differently. While reflection is important for learning and growth, obsessing over the actions of others only keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity. You cannot change how someone else treated you, but you can change how you respond to the situation. By shifting your attention from the person to your own healing and future, you start to reclaim the power that was once in their hands. Letting go also requires releasing any expectations you may have had about the relationship. We often hold on to the hope that people will change, that they will eventually recognize our worth, or that things will go back to how they were. While it's natural to want resolution, Clinging to these expectations only prolongs your suffering. People can only change if they choose to. And sometimes the best thing you can do is release the expectation that they will. When you let go of these expectations, you free yourself from the disappointment and the emotional weight of waiting for someone to recognize what they failed to see. This doesn't mean you stop caring, but rather that you choose to prioritize your own well-being and peace over the desire for validation from someone who failed to provide it. Forgiveness is another powerful component of letting go. This doesn't mean excusing the behavior or forgetting what happened. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the grip that anger, resentment, and bitterness have on your heart. Holding on to grudges only keeps you tied to the person who hurt you, and often they may have already moved on, leaving you stuck in emotional turmoil. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not the person who wronged you. It's an act of self-liberation. By choosing to forgive, you release yourself from the chains of negativity and open up space for healing, growth, and the opportunity to move forward in your life. Another critical aspect of letting go is learning to detach your sense of self-worth from the opinions of others. When someone doesn't value you, it's easy to internalize their lack of recognition as a reflection of your value. However, this is a dangerous trap that keeps you dependent on others for validation. Your worth is not defined by someone else's inability to see it. Letting go means shifting the focus from external validation to internal validation. It's about recognizing that you are inherently valuable regardless of how others perceive you. This shift in perspective empowers you to let go of the need for approval and frees you from the emotional burden of seeking validation from those who cannot or will not provide it. In the process of letting go, it's important to replace the space left by hurt and resentment with self-love and self-care. Engaging in activities that nourish your body, mind, and spirit helps you reconnect with yourself and reminds you of your inherent worth. Whether it's through hobbies, physical exercise, meditation, or simply spending time alone in reflection, these acts of self-care reinforce the idea that you are deserving of love, respect, and happiness. The more you invest in yourself, the more you realize that your happiness is not tied to someone else's treatment of you. Letting go also involves embracing the future without fear. Often, when we've been hurt or undervalued by someone, we carry that emotional baggage into new relationships or situations. We become guarded, afraid of being hurt again. Letting go means releasing that fear and being open to new possibilities, new relationships, and new opportunities. It means trusting that not everyone will treat you the same way and that the future holds the potential for growth, love, and fulfillment. When you let go of the past, you free yourself to fully engage with the present and future, knowing that your past does not define who you are or what is possible for you. Finally, letting go is a continuous practice. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires patience and self-compassion. There will be moments when the past resurfaces and the hurt reappears, but each time you have the choice to let go again. Each time you release the past, you grow stronger, and the hold it has on you weakens. Over time, you will find that the emotional weight of someone who didn't value you becomes lighter, and your sense of peace and personal power will grow. Letting go is not a one-time act, but a process of releasing the past, rediscovering yourself, and embracing the future with confidence and clarity.